Hi campers, it's Miss Yaz from Camp Quarantine. Today is picture book time and I will follow up with the lesson in a separate video. But for those who would love a picture book, I'm going to be sharing a story about one of my favorite artists. Now, this book is about this artist here named Vincent van Gogh. In some countries they say Van Gogh, but I say Van Gogh. And I didn't really learn about him until I was a bit older. So I'm really excited to share his life story with you. And maybe his art will inspire you to try some of your own Vincent van Gogh inspired art. All right, so this one's called Portrait of an Artist, Vincent van Gogh. You can hear the birds. Actually, it's such a nice day here in Melbourne. So I thought I'd read outside. Are you ready? Vincent van Gogh. Look at these illustrations. I love it. So some of the pictures are actually his and some of them are by the illustrator, Edith Caron, and it was written by Lucy Brownridge. Okay, so here for the parents in case you want to buy it. Okay, Vincent van Gogh lived in the Netherlands. He had grown up in the shadow of his charismatic and exciting brother Theo. Confident Theo went off to make his fortune in Paris selling art. Quiet, thoughtful Vincent only felt confident when he was drawing, but inspired by Theo, he found a job working in an art gallery near his hometown. He loved the beautiful paintings in the gallery, but for some reason he didn't feel happy and knew something was missing. He just wasn't sure what. So here's one of his art pieces here. He had heard that for some people, happiness came from serving God. So he moved to Belgium where he became a priest and taught people how to love God. Although his new job was good, he missed being surrounded by art every day. He knew he must go home and have another think about what it was that was missing from his life. And here's another art piece. Here. I love these illustrations. I'll give you a sec. I think that might be him being a priest. Back in the Netherlands, Vincent tried his hand at turning his drawings into paintings. The problem was he couldn't find anything he found inspiring, and his paintings kept coming out a sludgy shade of brown. These brown paintings weren't selling, and he soon ran out of money. Vincent was stuck, but he knew who would know what to do. Theo. So Vincent wrote his brother a letter. Now remember, a long time ago, there was no internet, there was no YouTube, there was no text messaging or selfies. They had to write a letter, okay? And here's one of his brown paintings that he didn't like. I think that's a self-portrait, that's him. And here's another one there. Very dark, aren't they? Like that. Theo told Vincent to come to Paris immediately, so in France, okay? And together they would try and help him out of his gloomy phase. Theo knew lots of successful artists in Paris who might have some good tips. So it looks like a studio space there. Very cool. Yes. When Vincent arrived in Paris, something life-changing happened. He saw paintings by a group of artists we now call the Impressionists. The Impressionists used bright and dancing brushstrokes to paint how things looked in a fleeting moment. Vincent was amazed. He instantly started painting with bright colours and with a new energy in his brush. He called this way of painting colour gymnastics. His friend said this was the moment when Vincent changed from a shy young man into a singing bird. I love that, how he discovered colour. Look at these illustrations. Aren't they wonderful? Colour gymnastics. I like that idea too. Vincent started painting new friends he had made in Paris, including art dealers and other artists. One of his new friends was a painter called Paul Gogh. I love Gogh. Paul had also given up his old job to become an artist. Paul wanted to move to the countryside and paint. Vincent thought it sounded like a wonderful idea and asked if he could come too. Vincent filled his bag with rolled up canvases and his new bright chemical paints, and off he went with Paul. Have a look at that piece of art there. It's getting brighter and brighter, isn't it? Awesome. I love it. So now they're moving to the countryside. The pair moved to a yellow house in a town called Arles. At first, they were very happy. Vincent made paintings of the house and the bedroom and everything he saw. And I remember doing this in high school, looking at this painting. So it was nice to see it again. That's his bedroom that he painted. Okay. But Vincent started acting unpredictably. That means people didn't know what, like he was being really spontaneous, or people didn't know what he was going to do next. And his paintings became more and more frantic. Do you know what frantic means? It means you're kind of doing a bit of this, like it looks like you're rushing, okay? He started painting manically. He couldn't stop. And over the next few years, he made nearly 2,000 works of art. 2,000! That's heaps. So he was like painting and painting and painting. Very inspired. Ooh, do you want to see the pictures of that? So there he is painting. There's their house and his bedroom. Vincent took himself for very long walks. He was overwhelmed by the beauty in the swirling leaves and the trees and the warm orange colours of the fields. He felt as though he couldn't get enough of the world around him, and he couldn't paint it fast enough. He was like in a rush to paint everything beautiful he saw. Wow, how inspiring. And I love how the illustrators really tried to capture that. Beautiful swirling. Oh, and there's his actual real piece of art there. Sometimes he gathered flowers from his walks and from their beautiful garden and made careful paintings of them. And look at all of the flowers. Oh my gosh, that's my dream. I love it. Oh, and there's his famous painting Sunflowers, one of my favorites. Fantastic. And there's it's like the real flowers that he was trying to paint. Isn't that clever how they've mixed his real paintings in with the illustrations? I love that. Uh-oh. Hold on, just want to make sure. Yep. One day he became so frantic. He had an argument or a fight with Paul Gogh, the other artist. In a heated moment, he damaged a part of his ear very badly. So in that argument, he did something to his ear. There he is with a bandage over his ear. And there's Vincent and Paul having a fight. I wonder what they were fighting about. Oh dear. Vincent knew that hurting himself wasn't a good response to being upset with Paul, so he took himself to hospital to get better. So here he is in the hospital because he doesn't feel well in his heart, probably, and in his mind. So he's gone to the hospital to get help, which is awesome. While he was there, he comforted himself by painting the view from his bedroom window. In his diary, he wrote that the stars made him dream, and he thought that the night sky looked more alive than in the day. And here is one of his famous paintings, Starry, Starry Night. It's one of my husband's favourite paintings, and mine too. I love how the short lines that he's drawn in his paintings make it look like the sky's moving. Do you see that? Awesome. I love that. Vincent felt very alone when he was in hospital, and he hadn't heard from Theo, his brother, in a long time. He felt as though the only person who understood how he felt was his kind, young doctor, Dr. Felix Ray. So there's Dr. Felix Ray. There's Vincent in the hospital. And there he must have drawn a portrait of Dr. Felix Ray. The one person he thought understood him. In the spring, Vincent left hospital and wrote to his beloved brother Theo, which made him feel a bit better. Although he was still very unwell, Vincent found the joy he had been searching for in painting the cornfields and landscapes around him. Now, do you remember what landscapes are? Landscapes are like what you see in nature. Okay, so it might be the mountains, it might be the sky, the night sky, the sea, the forest, the beach, and he is painting the cornfields with his very, very well-known short brushstrokes, okay? And there's his real painting, and I love how the illustrators have made it part of their illustrations. But later on that year, Vincent decided that he had enough of being unwell. When he died, he could hear the gently rustling corn that had given him so much joy and inspiration. I think this is showing that he's not well anymore and he's died. Okay, the birds there. His last painting was of a beautiful cornfield. Vincent had found what he was truly best at, and most importantly, what inspired him. He left behind thousands of his wonderful creations, some of which are among the most famous and loved paintings in the world. So that was his very last painting there, the cornfields. Beautiful illustrations. What's in the masterpiece? So this is one of his brown sludgy ones, do you remember? So these, at the back of this book, it's actually got an explanation of all his paintings that he did for real, okay? And I love that about this book, that it breaks it down there at the start of his paintings. That's when he discovered the Impressionists, yeah? Then that's when he moved to Arles with Paul Gogh. That's when he had a fight. And here are his beautiful sunflowers. I'll show you that one a bit closer. Which one do you like? Do you like the faces or do you like the flowers? Here's the last painting he ever did of the cornfields. And there's some more cornfields. And that was the view of the night sky when he was in hospital. It's called Starry, Starry Night. Very popular, that one. But what we're going to do today in another YouTube video is we are going to be looking at Vincent van Gogh's Sunflowers, okay? We're going to be looking at that one here, okay? So stay tuned, and I hope you like the other video that I make about the activity to do with Vincent van Gogh. All right, bye, campers.